Hello, this is Dr. Kim Duramo, the founder of the American Institute of Mind-Body Medicine, and welcome to our Facebook Live for MindBody TV with Dr. Kim D. I will be sharing with you today about getting out of holiday overwhelm. So often we're like, just like, that's my operating system. That's the way you do it. It's a busy time of year. And we buy into all this BS about what it's supposed to be like, what it has to be like, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And it really overruns our whole system. It can flare up illness, inflammation, autoimmune disease, pain, depression, anxiety, every kind of bad thing. And then we have even more work to do to try to counteract that. So not a great way to go through the holidays. I am just going to check and make sure we're here streaming live and that this is working okay. Looks good. So I welcome your comments and welcome your questions and, as we interact here. I am a physician. I actually am trained in emergency medicine, but I've been practicing mind-body medicine for years. Really, it's about, I've kind of transitioned my practice to help people heal instead of, fighting off emergencies, stopping the bleeding, getting the heart started back up. But what is it that makes us sick? What is it that really allows the body to heal? What prevents healing? And there's a big difference between acute and chronic illness, where in acute illness, we got to fix the problem. But in a chronic illness, the question really is, what's blocking health? What's preventing healing? So for people with chronic anxiety or fatigue or depression or chronic pain, autoimmune illness, all of these things, it's a whole different ball of wax. So I've really, after experiencing an autoimmune illness myself, had a major change in the way I practice medicine and in what I'm doing now so that I could help more people with the things that really helped me, that made the biggest difference. As I tried to heal myself, that didn't work. I was working really hard. I was stressed out. I was go, learning more, doing more, figuring out more, and it just became more and more complicated. There's more to do. There's more to learn. There's more to not do, right? Not eat this or not do this thing. And it's like a full-time job to try to heal. But that's what happens when we try to approach a chronic illness like an acute illness. Fix the problem, fix the problem, fix the problem. It won't work. So the approach that I've had that I found is really powerful to create harmony in the body, which is what allows health to be restored, is very different. And especially around the holidays when there's so much heaviness that can come in that we haven't learned how to move through and how to resolve. It's like this completion at the end of the year, but we just kind of see it as, all right, just go, check the box, get this thing done. Let's just survive it and get on to the next thing. We miss the opportunity. We miss this huge clearing and release that's ready to happen so that we can experience more joy, so that we can experience more vibrance and more health and more full aliveness. So if you're ready to have next year be completely different than any year you've had before, stay tuned because we're going to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of what happens so often that keeps us in overwhelm. It prevents all of those clearings from happening for us to be, we're going to move beyond 2017 and anything that's ready to complete there can just complete and move into a whole new space, a whole new experience of myself, a whole new aliveness, a whole new world in 2018. And also to have frickin' joy. Is it like, I'm supposed to have joy during this time of year? Wait a minute. I'm so overwhelmed. I can barely survive. Yeah. To actually experience this end of year, this holiday, this quote unquote busyness in joy instead of overwhelm. So welcome to everyone who is joining. I am super excited to have you here and always welcome your comments. I'm just trying to look and see what we see on the page here to make sure I can see the comments. Okay, good. So there's a couple things, and I love to use MindBody Tools to help the body heal, to help people get through certain experiences, what is happening and what's happening in the body that kind of prevents us from having that joy. So there's like 3 different things I'm going to talk about. And the last one is EFT meridian tapping, using that as a tool to get present, to feel what's happening in your body, to let old mind states release, to let old emotions release, things that we're not even necessarily conscious of, and to let old physical states of tension and what we're holding in the body to release, so that we leave them behind at this end of year and we can live joyfully and fully. Okay. One of the first things that happens so often when we've got like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that, and my Christmas cards, or I gotta pick up Christmas presents, and oh, this thing I forgot. And like, meanwhile, I'm working full time or taking care of my kids or doing whatever. This creates so much overwhelm. And what happens is I sort of get ahead of myself. So instead of living here in my physical body where I have all of my access to power, I end up projecting that in front of me. So for example, making breakfast, right? I'm like, okay, what do you guys want for breakfast? I'm making breakfast for my family, but I'm already thinking about, I got to get in the car and get to whatever I got to get to by such and such time. Or I'm already thinking, oh, I got this appointment. Am I going to, I got to be on time, blah, blah, blah. I'm on to the next thing. And what that does is it kind of puts your energy body out in front of you. Very strange thing, but when you do this little exercise I'm going to show you, you'll feel it. I had a practitioner, she's like an energy practitioner named Carol Look, years ago, teach me this, and I used it all the time. I practiced it all the time after that until it really just integrated, because I realized I was always out in front of myself. So then it leaves the body in this state of like, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I don't feel okay, I don't feel grounded. That creates anxiety, that creates inflammation in the body, all kinds of chemical changes, and it stimulates your nervous system. So your nervous system's kind of always in fight or flight trigger, and that can create all kinds of health problems. So here's all you do is just take a few deep breaths, and then see that part of you as if you could see the energy, like you've jumped out ahead in front of yourself, and just pull it back in. For me, it was like 3 feet out in front of myself, and I would just pull that energy right back in. Like, hey, it's okay. You just come right out here. You know, that part of us that feels like we can get on to the next thing. We can't. We can only be in the now, present to whatever it is we're choosing. And so pull that energy right back into yourself and like anchor it in your body. And then just take another deep breath and let it go. And for those of you who are energy sensitive, which most people who are, doing yoga, or you're just a sensitive individual, you'll feel this. You will really feel this like click of, oh, I feel grounded. I feel a sense of security. I feel a sense of well-being. So that's one thing to remember to do, like whenever you are feeling overwhelmed, which noticing is like the most important part. I'm like, whoa, I'm not feeling grounded. I'm not feeling joy. I'm feeling totally chaotic or whatever. Try that first. Pull your energy back in from like 3 feet in front of you. And so now I'm operating in the now. I have access to my power. I have access to my wisdom. I have access to all of this amazing perception that I can use to choose what contributes to my life. Instead of, I got to do more, I got to go faster, I got to be better, and I'm trying to do it myself. No. So practice this like energy pull to kind of reconnect with yourself so that you're living embodied. The second thing that happens that causes a lot of overwhelm is we assume that we get to defer our happiness. And if you've ever been in that situation where you meet a friend and, hey, how are you? And the whole conversation is about, I'm so busy. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, let me tell you how busy I am. It's like whenever we do this check-in, how am I doing? It's always this assumption. I'm so busy. Like I'm supposed to be busy. Like it's a good thing, or wow, it means I'm more valuable or more important or more whatever because I'm so busy, and like wear it like a badge of honor. I'm so busy. I can't even take a shower, and how I'm really proud of that, and I'm stinky and smelly. Like it's kind of a craziness, but we do buy into this truth. And it's like, what am I doing? In that state of being busy, I'm trying to get somewhere, and it's this like better place, right? I'm gonna work harder and make more money, and then I'll be in this better place, and then I'll have joy. Or I'm gonna take care of my kids and get them, really well educated and well adjusted, and now they're doing well, and then they go off to college and I can be happy. Or whatever I'm trying to get to through being busy. It's deferring joy. That will never create more in your life. Why? Even if I'm writing my Christmas cards and I'm like, oh, I love you so much, Merry Christmas, and I'm sending this off and sending that off. If I'm in busyness, get it done, it will not create more joy. That person might read the card, but it's like, oh, okay, that's from Kim, nice card. Okay, I'm on to my next thing. They won't really feel the resonance of love that I may intend to communicate. But if I sit in presence and I'm like feeling my body, okay, right now, the only thing that's happening is I'm writing this Christmas card. It doesn't take me any longer to write it, but it will infuse that state of well-being into the card, into whatever it is I'm doing. It will actually infuse that joy and create an effect. Like the person can open that card and feel it. Wow, there's real presence here. She was really present when she wrote this card. And it's not about the words on the card. It's the craziest thing, but there's a transmission that can happen that we feel when someone is present to baking a cake, baking a cookie, knitting a sweater, writing a card, or, if you go to a practitioner and they're there to assist your healing, you can feel that something's happening when that person's really present versus if that person's like, okay, we got this, we got that, boom, oh, here's your pill, take this, you're going to feel better, I'll see you later. Nothing happens. This has been proven scientifically. There is medical science to show that when a doctor is really present and in the heart, meaning they care about that patient. The studies actually show that it's when the patient feels cared for, the patient feels like this doctor cares, that the placebo effect is ignited, that they can say, here's this sugar pill that has no physiologic effect at all, and like, boom, it cures cancer, boom, it cures migraines, boom, it cures autoimmune disease. Literally, we've seen this uncountable times, that the body can heal because we're receiving that transmission. So don't underestimate that. When you are present instead of busy, you will create a very different effect in your life. It's not only for like the person reading that card that you put your moment into, it's for yourself. Because guess what happens when I'm present to what I'm doing versus like busy and I'm on to the next thing and I'm going to check this box and just, okay, I got it all done. What happens when I'm really putting my presence into things is I'm in harmony. My body's in harmony. If you measure my blood pressure, my heart rate, my respiratory rate, what's happening in my kidneys, what's happening in my adrenal glands, my hormones, all of these things come into balance when I choose to really be with my moment, whatever it is I'm doing. Even if I feel like crap, choosing to be present to what I'm experiencing will create more harmony in the body. This is what ignites healing. So that is the second thing. And so you can kind of invoke that magic moment of presence or presence your experience through whatever it is you're doing. You're doing your work, you're picking up your kid, you're baking a cake, you're wrapping a Christmas present, right? How often do we wrap the present? We're like, oh God, I just gotta wrap this thing. Ooh, now I gotta wrap another one. If you're present while you're doing it, it will bring you so much joy, it will bring them so much joy, and it will create so much more in your life. So how to access that? Use your breath. Even as I'm sitting here, I'm always really mindful of like, Kim, stay present to your breath. There's nowhere to get. I'm not in my mind of like, what am I going to say? Or what do they think if I say that? Or so there's more presence, there's more authenticity, there's something that can come through that's an authentic transmission, a communication, because I'm present to my breath instead of being present in my mind or my thoughts or my fears or the projection of what's going to come next or whatever. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. So when you're doing that thing and you notice, like cooking up the eggs, oh my God, we're going to be late for school, whatever. Wait a minute, let me take a deep breath and cook the eggs in presence. I guarantee you, you will have a very different result. So breathe your way through all that you do. Because just like in yoga, when we learn to breathe through the asana, we learn to breathe through the poses, through the motions, through the transitions. That is to bring presence to every micro movement, to every microsecond, to bring more and more presence so that we cultivate presence. That is what creates your life. It's what makes your life effortless. It's what allows synchronicities and miracles and like happenstance. Like, whoa, I bumped into the right person in the right time. How did that happen? It's because I let my life and my choices be created from my presence instead of being created from my busy. Totally different experience of life. So the second piece is, instead of staying busy, deferring the happiness to later, like breathe and be present and witness what happens. The third thing that I want to share that keeps us in so much overwhelm is we are not fully willing to feel what we feel in the body, to feel what we are physically feeling. Like, oh, I don't want to feel this pain. I don't want to feel this tension. I'm going to escape my body. And we sort of jump out and get distracted, or we do these busy things, or we just stay on the rat race. And we keep choosing more rat race. We want to feel a lot of times what we feel emotionally. And that's like a deeper layer. Very few people are aware of what they feel emotionally. And as a practitioner, if I can connect someone with what they feel physically, it'll automatically begin to bring awareness to what they feel emotionally. And then there's the whole mental of like your thought, belief systems, which I call BS. It's just all the stuff floating around that I'm buying into that can get me off track to truth, get me off track from my truth, and get me into this just a whole different ball of wax of something totally fabricated. How can I stay present to what's really happening? And so anchoring into the physical body will give you access to all of this. I'm just going to look through the comments and answer a few questions before we get into this. Gail says, Louise Hay calls this presence the presence of source. Are you meaning to say that whoever reads your card will feel your energy? Doesn't matter when they read it. I am meaning to say exactly that. Whoever reads my card, to the degree that they're present themselves, will feel something. They will have an experience that's very different than if I had written, oh, check the box. Oh, yeah, this love Kim, blah, blah, blah. And I get so many cards like that I'm like, oh, this is really nice, this is really beautiful, but you don't really feel anything in it. And it's like, were they present to this card? Were they present to me when they sent it? And then some other cards that as soon as I open them, I feel so much of this love and joy, and something comes through. So yes, and it doesn't matter when they read it, as far as like it's a day later, it's a year later, but it can matter the state that they're in, because you can miss it. You can have something really beautiful that's presenting itself to you, but you kind of aren't present to it. So yeah, it's a dual creation. If you say you're busy, you'll simply create more busy. Yeah, that's what most people are doing. I mean, we've all had that experience. Bayari, hello from UK. Thank you. And what else do we have? Oh, and thank you for the hearts and likes and all of that that's coming by. I will check the comments again as well. So this last part is a big foundation of what I've done in my work around helping move energy through the body. A lot of stagnation that creates illness, chronic illness, like I'm sick, I'm just not getting better. It has to do with what's going on in the emotional body, what's happening emotionally that I haven't been present to. So I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not allowing that energy to move. I'm like holding it in, holding it together. And emotional freedom technique is a really simple way to let that energy move through the body. So what EFT is just a way of calming and grounding the nervous system while I witness whatever's happening within me. Thoughts, ideas, beliefs, conclusions I've come to, fears, and then any emotions, anger, frustration, shame, grief, and sometimes it's there for decades, and we aren't letting that energy move. You think like, I'm working on myself, I'm doing so much to work on myself, and you're really actually in stagnation because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting yourself from feeling what's happening within your body. So let's release that, and I'll teach you some EFT. So that's good with you. And I just want to ask out there who has been familiar with EFT, who has been introduced to EFT, emotional freedom technique. And Gail's asking, how do we remove stuck energy? This is a really beautiful way to do it. And you can do it anytime, anywhere. And I'll, sometimes people think it looks a little weird, but I'll talk to you about how to modify if you're out in the middle of public and you don't want to do the full out expression. But basically, there are points on the body. So if we look here, the karate chop point out on the karate chop, pinky edge of your hand, just like on the side of your hand here. You can tap your right one, you can tap your left one, you can tap both of them together. It doesn't matter. Any of these will sort of stimulate that point and give feedback to your nervous system that calms and grounds your nervous system so that you can let old energy release out and allow something fresh and new to come in. So we start with that point. The next point is the inner eye. So just on top of the inner part of your eyebrow, you could do one side or both sides, and you just gently tap, tap, tap with the, the tips of your fingers. It doesn't have to be hard. And that's kind of right on that bony ridge. The next point is your outer eyebrow point, right on the outer upper corner of the eyes. So for anyone listening to audio, I'll just describe this. And then underneath the eye, right at the middle of your eye, underneath the pupil, one side or both sides is fine, right on that bony ridge. Just breathing in and out. And then underneath your nose, right above the upper lip in the middle, so just one point here, not both sides. Breathing in, breathing out. Let it go. And then right in the middle of your chin, tap, tap, tap. And we're going to use phrases to bring things to the surface, phrases that bring up awareness. But even without those phrases, it's really calming to the body to just tap on these points at any time. Underneath the collarbone, in that little soft space here, tap, tap, tap. So if you're driving your car and you're noticing like, oh my gosh, I'm not on time and I'm so anxious, or whatever discord you notice at any time around anything, just let your body know, body, it's okay. We're doing great. I'm right here. And you could just take one of these points and just gently tap like, body, I love you. All is well. And just remind this part of you like, it's okay. You're not dying. Because the body will really go into that fight or flight intensity of like, oh my gosh, it's really not okay, over pretty much anything. Oh my gosh, I forgot to send that one's Christmas card. Or, oh my gosh, I'm late for this appointment. And it really isn't a big deal. Okay, the next one's underneath the armpit, right at the nipple line, straight underneath the armpit. Just tap, tap, tap. And then the last one is right on top of your head. So breathing in and breathing out. Let everything go. And then just relax for a moment and check back in with your body. So that's the first thing, is like that check-in, that awareness, developing the awareness of, hey body, what's going on? How are you feeling? Where am I right now? As you check in, it doesn't even mean that you know what's happening, right? Because at first it's like, I don't know. I don't feel anything. I have no idea. And just let that go. Just keep asking, how you doing, body? What's coming up? And like do a little scan. Because just by looking, you ignite the parts of the brain that register that information. These parts of your brain might have been dormant for years and you've overridden this information like, no, I don't want to know what's happening. I just want to manage my life. And so you shut down to what you feel. And so many of us have done this. We've been conditioned to do this. Don't feel things, just get it done. And it's really disruptive. So you've got to reignite those parts of the brain that register the awareness of what you feel. What do I feel in my pelvis? What do I feel in my belly? What do I feel in my chest? So even though at first you might be thinking, I don't know what I feel, it's okay. Just let that go. It's just a thought. So feeling into, what do I feel in my body? This is a really powerful way to ignite healing. Just that alone, the awareness. In my book, The MindBody Toolkit, it's really all about how we use our awareness. And there's like a lot more MindBody tools in there that are fun to play with, like standing online at the grocery, or while you're talking to your spouse, or while you're nervous at work, or whatever's coming up, to use it in that moment to recalibrate your system, recalibrate your body to a new level of wellness. All right, I'm going to look at a couple questions. So how is that just so far with just tapping? Gail says, how does this apply if one of those points is a bit sore? Just be gentle on that point. If it doesn't feel good, you don't have to use that point. but you might want to just kind of inquire about what's going on there. You could skip any of these that doesn't feel as good. I love Nick and Jessica. That's Nick and Jessica Ortner. They're very good friends of mine as well. Thanks to them, I found you and your work. That's really sweet. Nick and Jessica are doing amazing work with tapping, like showing people about tapping and promoting this work with tapping. And there's a lot of medical science now looking at the brain and what happens in your brain when you do this tapping. So for a long time, even though it was used very successfully for like PTSD, anxiety, depression, chronic pain patterns, chronic fatigue, there wasn't a lot of clarity in the scientific literature about why does this work? What is happening here anyway? Is this a real thing? But there really is so much more brain research on this now, which is kind of a fun thing because, you know, we can really understand more about how the body works. I've used this in the emergency room on patients with severe anxiety and chest pain, shortness of breath, coming in like in distress. And yes, we'd get an EKG, and yes, we'd get lab work and like look at the heart, see what's going on. But I'd also have the awareness of like, there's an emotional component here. What's going on with this person? And I would use some tapping, and inevitably there'd be tears flowing as the emotions would move, as the energy would move. The heart rate would come down, the respiratory rate would come down, the blood pressure would go back to normal, and the chest pain would be gone. And it was amazing to do this and see someone like on a monitor with their percentage of oxygen being monitored, and it improves, right? So they're like in this one state where it's like, my whole body's shutting down, I'm not okay. And now coming into more ease and lightness and harmony, and all of these factors would normalize. So not just that they felt better, but that their body really exhibited significant improvement. So it was always amazing to be able to help people move emotional energy as well as helping them physically in the emergency room, and see how powerful this EFT was for so many people. So let's use it for what comes up in the holiday. And I definitely welcome your comments about like, what are you dealing with? What's your stress? What's happening for you that feels overwhelming or so heavy, because this isn't just, you know, we think we're busy, we think we're overwhelmed. It registers as very real. I'm really not okay. I'm really not safe. I really can't relax. I really don't have time. And the more we buy into it, the more our experience contracts around it, and we experience it as real, physically, mentally, emotionally. So take a breath and let's feel into what can come up. So we'll start with being busy, because who the heck isn't busy? Well, I, not as a brag, more as a statement of how willing I've been to honor my ease and honor my harmony, is I've made it a point to never be busy. And if I'm busy, I'm like buying into a lie. I'm buying into this idea that I don't have what I need, that I don't have enough time, that I don't have enough energy. And it's like, wait a minute, BS, right? That's a belief system. Stop. What am I buying into right now that's having me behave so chaotically? And what's going to take for me to dump it? And I always find my way through that lie. Like, nope, I always have what I need. Life works out on my side. And inevitably, like the person, say I'm late for an appointment, they'll call and be like, can I have 5 more minutes? I'm running late. And I'm like, that's perfect. And as I honor my ease and like buy out of busy, those things always happen. It always ends up being okay. So let's start in the karate chop point. The way we do tapping, and we'll do the phrases, is we'll do 3 sets of the, and if you have anxiety right now, you're going to love this. We'll do 3 sets of what's called the setup phrase. So 3 times it's like, even though this bad thing, or I have pain, or I'm so anxious, or even though I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough friends, I choose to be in harmony now. So you put those things together. It's like, yes, it seems like it's the end of the world, and I choose to be in total peace with exactly what is. And you put these together. 3 times, that's your setup phrase. So even though I am so busy and overwhelmed, and now you'll repeat after me and just say it out loud as you tap. I choose to be in harmony now. Good, so just breathing and tapping on the karate chop point. Even though I am so not okay, I choose to love and accept myself fully. Even though I'm overwhelmed and there's way too much on my shoulders, I choose to honor myself and my experience fully. Good, so you just repeat out loud after me as you tap on these points. It might look a little silly or feel a little silly at first, but when you feel how harmonizing it is, you'll have more willingness to just go with it. Inner eyebrow point, all of this overwhelm and busyness. Just breathing in and breathing out. Outer eyebrow point. And I can't get off this hamster wheel. I have to keep going. Under the eye. All the ways this is real for me. Good. Under the nose. Let's just call it out. And this silly blonde girl thinks this is an easy fix. On the chin. She has no idea what I'm dealing with. Good. Just go with it, because sometimes your system can reject not being met fully. It can just reject, what does this person know? Good. Under the collarbone. I have real problems and real issues. Good. And just stay right here for a minute. And I can't just let them go. Good. Under the arm. They really do need my attention. I really do need to stay busy. On top of the head. And sacrifice and compromise myself. Good. And just keep breathing. This is just what runs a lot of our system, is we buy into this. Okay, inner eye. What if I had more compassion for myself? Breathe fully, let it move, removing a lot of energy, outer eye, and let myself let go of what's causing this distress. Under the eye, and just start by just relaxing my physical body. Under the nose, and maybe slowing down my breathing. On the chin, and just see what that might create. Under the collarbone, trying to do it all myself and get ahead. Under the arm, by doing more and more and more and going faster. Keep breathing, top of the head. Totally depleting myself in the meanwhile. Inner eyebrow, we're going to keep going. Staying busy to try to get somewhere and get to something better. Good, outer eye. Or just let it all fall to hell and say, forget it all. Under the eye. It seems like these are the only two choices that I have. Under the nose. What if I relax and let myself perceive a third option? Good. On the chin. Something that never occurred to me before. Under the collarbone. That when I was stressed wasn't even a possibility for me. Under the arm. But when I let go, it can actually come in as a new possibility. Top of the head. This is the power that lies within me. Good, and just stay right here. When I let go and slow my breathing and relax my body, just stay right on the top of the head. I can allow all new possibilities to easily come in. Good. And just breathe in and just breathe out. Okay. Thank you for those who kind of went through that and played along. And so just check in with, how does my body feel right now? How do I feel physically? Do I still have that tension in my shoulders? Do I still have that tightness in my chest? Do I still have fluttering in my belly? Like, just feel, is there more fluidity? Is there more ease and lightness physically? Does the breath come more easily? And then you might feel into, how do I feel emotionally? Is there less fear and less anxiety? Is there less frustration, right? Because sometimes it's like, what's this chick saying? I don't know about this person. And we're in an emotional state of doubt, or you call it like a skepticism. And after you relax the body, it's like, oh, maybe I'll let something new in. Well, I wonder what this is. And we're more receptive. So that usually is what happens. The other thing that can happen is more shit comes up. And you're like, wow, as I tune into what I'm feeling a lot. And it's really intense. And wow. Now the mind will make it into a problem. Like, oh, I'm so broken and messed up. I need 10 years of therapy. But just let all of that go. You can do another round of tapping. I'm present to what I feel. It's okay to witness what I feel. I can breathe through what I feel. And just let your body know, yes, body, it's okay, this is here. It's okay, this is present. That will be what allows it to move. That will be what allows the body to relax into it so the energy can move. Very powerful. Okay, let me look at some comments to see how everyone's doing. What's more important, the emotional or the physical energy? You don't need to get into that idea of like, this is more important than this in a hierarchy. That's just mind stuff. You can witness all of it and let it move. So you can access the physical as a portal to the emotional, and it will take you deeper, but it's not like one's more important. Gail says, Abe says, the mind is a focusing mechanism. Okay. So just, you can comment on some things of what you're witnessing here and what you notice in the body on any level, simple or something that seems really profound. That piece at the end is really powerful, because when I allow new possibilities to come in, it's like when we're in fight or flight, the mind contracts. It's like, I got to get to a tree and climb that tree and escape the tiger. Boom. And it's not open to the bigger perspective of possibility. Like, oh, what if I do it this way? That will solve everything. I remember years back when my husband and I were living, we were just married, and we were living in my place, which was in the middle of Boston, but we were still working in the place, 2 different places. So I was kind of over here, he was over here, and we could kind of both access our work, but he had a long commute, and it was kind of a grungy commute. And he's like, this is really wearing on me. We've got to figure out our living situation and like live somewhere that's going to be a better fit. And I was like, well, I'm in my place over there, and I don't want to have a long commute, and like where he was far away, and it was like this big cluster. So we kind of were in this argument of like, no, there's no possibility here, and oh no, we have to do it my way, or oh, this is such a bad situation. And I was like, wait a minute, we're not going to buy into that BS. There's a solution here. We're just not perceiving it. Let's go to sleep, and when we wake up in the morning, we'll have awareness around how we could do it that's going to fit all of the needs. So one of the things that was coming up was like, well, we're not ready to buy a house in that area. There's this area that's kind of right more in the middle, but we're not ready to buy a house there. Then it would be like, what are we going to find? We won't find anything in that area. So we were very much in the limitation. But I realized that, and I realized the contraction around it. And I was like, no. Life is on my side. There's always ease and joy ready to be received. We'll go to sleep. When we wake up, we'll see the possibility. We'll let it in. We woke up the next morning, and it's really silly because it was so simple, but we just couldn't see it. And we thought, wait a minute, why don't we look for a rental house? We can rent a house in that area, which is like exactly the area we want to be. You've got an easy commute to your thing. I've got an easy commute to my thing. We're very close to my family. All the parts are met. We didn't think of that before. When we're in fight or flight, we contract. We cannot see what's right in front of our nose, which so ended up, we did exactly that. It went great. But another thing that happens is like, I would be driving to my practice. I used to have an osteopathic practice, or when I drive to the ER sometimes, I'd be like, oh, I'm running late. Oh, I'm nervous. And I'd find I'm in this contracted state. Like, it's not going to be okay. And I'd say, wait a minute. Be anxious for nothing. What would it take for this to work out perfectly fine? But my patient's going to be there, and no one's there, and they won't be able to get in, and then they'll be disappointed. It'll be a bad thing. I'll look bad. Whatever the mind is saying. It's like, no, be anxious for nothing. What would it take for this to work out in total harmony and be even better than I thought? And so I would open to that possibility. My body would relax, and I would enjoy my ride. And that would be the moment where, like, that patient would show up 10 minutes late, and I'd be like, perfect. I'm right here for you. No problem. But the synchronicity would always come in when I made space for it. So you got to like sometimes let yourself feel better first, and then the possibility comes in. And that is so true around the holidays. So whatever is going on for you, know that with my deepest compassion, it is not about blowing off how real the drama seems, or the physical illness is, or whatever, relationship, grief, all kinds of things. It's about finding ease through your experience so that you can open to something more beautiful, more loving, more joyful. And joy doesn't mean, la la la, I should be happy this season. I really should be happy. Joy is deepened through sadness. So if I'm willing to feel more of my sadness or heartbreak or disappointment, or maybe that's what comes up this year, like in the darkness of these last weeks of the year, if I'm willing to presence my grief, I can open to experience more joy. So that's really the invitation. I hope this has been a helpful Facebook Live MindBody TV episode. I can be found at drkimd.com if you would like more in mind-body medicine. I do also have live programs. We have a new one starting in March. I have a little baby coming before that, so I'm going to take a month or two off and just be present to my experience there. But we'll be restarting the live group in March. It's called Embracing Health. It is way more about receiving than it is about doing, or like this next cleanse or this disciplined eating regime or all these things you think you need to do in order to have health, but to allow yourself to open so that you can receive the miracles of what the universe, what life has for you in your body, has for you in your life, your relationships, your work, all of the things that make us come most fully alive. So that link is drkimd.com/health. If you're interested in more information, I would definitely welcome you to check that out. Subscribe if you're not already at drkimd.com if you would like more in the invites for the Facebook Lives or any of the other things that we have going on to assist healing and vibrant living. I'm going to look over the comments one more time. Yeah, it feels very strange when I pull the energy in. Could it be that the body isn't ready for this? It can actually just be that calibration is like, whoa, it's very unfamiliar. Like we're used to living outside of ourselves and like managing, and this is my point of reference. But no, your body will always welcome greater presence. So just breathe through the integration and let it kind of normalize. Like, this feels strange. It's unfamiliar. What is it? Like, what's happening here? Just let yourself integrate that space of like really being present to yourself. Can you elaborate on being on the body being only in the now? Yeah, Gail, that's a great question. So your physical body can't live in the future or in the past. It can't live with the idea of other people or being somewhere that you're not. And it can't live in your identities of like, oh, we buy into all these ideas of who we are and what we are, and what's possible, what's not possible. Your physical body resonates much higher than that. It actually has way more healing capacity, way more manifesting capacity than you can imagine. So when we let ourselves anchor into the physical body, we immediately come out of the projection of future, right? So think about what you're going to do for the holidays. It's like, oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, and this one's going to do that thing, and that one's going to do this thing, and then I'm going to get really triggered, and I'm going to be all pissed off, and this is what's going to happen. Well, that's not even happening. It's not real. It's a fabrication. So are you creating a future projection that you don't want? and putting energy into it and feeding it like you're already getting it geared up so that there isn't much choice for anything else. Pull your energy back into your physical body. This is a lot about the program I created, the Instant Elevation, is all about accessing your power and doing it in total stillness. And it's free. It's free. You don't have to work for it or earn it or deserve it. And the first premise is like anchoring your energy, your attention back into your body. So when we are in the future, you will feel anxiety because it's like, oh God, I don't want this to happen, or dread, or you'll feel, oh, even if like I'm like recreating the past, right? Well, last year, this thing, every year this thing happens, now it's going to happen again. If we can anchor into the body, just feel your physical body, that's enough. It'll presence you in, or just like, you know, rub your chest, rub your arms, give yourself a hug, like squeeze your shoulders. That will anchor you into the physical body. It will get you back into the present and out of that fabrication, so that instead of your energy creating that unwanted thing or living in the past with something that, oh, I'm still so angry about that. Can you believe she did this? I can't believe that person, blah, blah, blah. You're not living in reality. You're living in the past. And that sucks and drains all your energy and has your body get sick because your body requires your presence. So that's a little bit about how your body is, you know, how to anchor into the present through the body. The more I'm in alignment, the more synchronicities fall into place. Yes, very good observation. What's the best way to let go of control? Is it a moment-to-moment process? Yes. Control comes from fear. If I'm in fear, I have to try to control it. So now I don't have to feel the fear. Okay, I'm safe. I don't have to feel the fear. It's never a true solution. That fear is going to come back. It didn't go anywhere. And you're going to have to keep working and working and working to control everything. And you make your life smaller and smaller and smaller. You're like squeezing all the joy and all the love out of your life. Because, you know, let's face it, the people around you are going to feel stifled by your controlling nature. And it's like, oh, let me back off from this person. And you lose a lot. If you can instead embrace what you're feeling in the moment, you could tap, oh my God, I'm scared to death that I am going to relax so much that I won't do what's needed and then my life will fall apart. It's crazy the ideas we have about letting go, that it won't be okay. Or, oh my gosh, look at my bank account, I don't have enough money, I'm totally freaked out, how will it ever be okay? Just tap to witness what's happening in you. Sometimes people say, why do I want to tap on these negative things? Well, you're neutralizing the quote-unquote negative things. There are no negative thoughts. There are the thoughts that you resist or the thoughts that you allow. And so our resistance is what kills us. Our resistance is what's toxic. So if you neutralize that, it's like, yeah, I'm a total piece of crap and I'm okay with it. I don't have to buy into it or avoid it or prove that I'm enough by working overtime and showing all of my colleagues that I'm worth it. Oh, I have this belief that I'm not enough. Okay, I love and accept myself fully. Now I'm in neutrality with it. Jessica Ortner just did this great Facebook Live, kind of about that, about feeling like I feel insecure because sometimes I mess up my speech. Sometimes I mess up my pronunciation. And she's got like the Spanish and the English. And she felt for so many years like, I'm inadequate because of this, or maybe I'm stupid. And it was, you know, this big contraction. And when she shared on the Facebook Live, she was so beautiful and authentic. And I texted her and was like, I just love you. You're so beautiful and amazing. And this is a beautiful expression. And I think everybody who saw that felt that way. But God, we carry that. So she's like, here I am speaking professionally, public speaking as my career. And I got to dump this. I got to dump this hold of what I've got on myself about how I feel not enough, that I can't pronounce all my words, or I feel inadequate, or am I stupid? And so tapping on the quote-unquote negative isn't, it's not instilling the negative, it's neutralizing it. It's making it like, yep, sometimes I think I'm a total idiot and not enough and completely deficient, and I love and accept myself anyway. Now I'm no longer run by that pattern, right? Like how many people become doctors and have to excel and prove themselves and be so good at whatever because you feel like you're not enough. that's a part. It's not the whole reason I became a doctor. There's so much authentically about why I wanted to choose that. But there was definitely this piece in it that got met of like, oh, now I can prove that I'm smart enough. Now I can prove that I'm a valid, worthy person. Now I can prove that I'm not a dumb blonde. Now I can prove that I'm not flighty or, oh, there was a word people used to use in the 80s. Oh, like it was like this fluffy, flighty blonde girl, and it bugged me so much. Like it just broke my heart. Like, no, I'm not just what was the word of, fluffy blonde girl, flighty. I'll think of it in a second. But it was like every time I'd hear that word, it was like, I've got to prove that I'm not that. And it's crazy because it caused me to create so much seriousness in my life. Like, no, I'm not flighty blonde girl. I'm serious. And let me like dye my hair and put it back and show you how serious I am. I'm not that. And it was years after medical school, after residency, to realize like, I can't even like be in my body anymore. I don't know who I am. I can't even dance. I was at my cousin's wedding and my mom's like, I was always in the middle of the circle dancing. And it was like, I forgot how to dance. And I'm like, I feel awkward. I don't know how to move my body. And I'm like, there's something wrong. This is not who I am. And I had to find myself again. And part of that was letting myself release the fear of being insignificant, of being, flighty blonde girl. And it's like, all right, you know what? Who cares if people think I'm too happy? And so they don't take me seriously. I'm going to take myself seriously. I'm not too happy. I'm as happy as I want to be. And it's okay for me to express this much freaking joy and live this fully to the point where people think I'm fake. And okay, those who are willing to stick around and see will see something deeper. And those who aren't, I'm okay with letting them have their judgment of me. I'm okay with letting people judge that I'm flighty blonde girl. And so when I accepted it, it just didn't run the show anymore. So I didn't have to prove myself or work extra hard or show up this way and overdo it, overwork. Oh, I'm so busy. Let me show you how busy I am. Well, I can be like not busy. I'm really happy that I'm nurturing myself, that I have a lifestyle that I really love, that really honors me. I can take care of my body. I can take care of my baby. I can take care of the things that are most important to me. So that's part of living. Oh, Randy, you freaking rock. Ditzy. Yes, ditzy blonde girl. That was it, right? Because as I think some people watching this could probably come on for 10 seconds and be like, who's that ditzy blonde girl? She's way too happy. She's way too whatever. And so I kind of wanted to protect myself from that. So I got real serious or even dark. But that wasn't fun for me. So yes, I've had, severe anxiety, panic disorder, depression, these real depths in my life, but I don't have to wear them like a badge to prove that I'm not ditzy blonde girl. And that's just so crazy that even it went that way. But there was like a lot of resistance to that. So yeah, thank you, Randy, for filling in the blank. So I welcome these questions, and I definitely welcome, your comments, and I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of MindBody TV with Dr. Kim D. You can find me at drkimd.com. Just to recap, these are MindBody tools to assist you in getting out of holiday overwhelm. Bring your energy back into your body. Use your breath to be present to every moment, the good, the bad, the ugly. Stay with your experience. And then here's some EFT tapping. It might be new for some of you, or maybe it's old hat, but you can use it anytime, anywhere. Just a little body, I'm here for you. Whatever crap's coming up, it's okay. We can move through this fluidly. Let this higher self do the work for you so that you get out of busy and you get into joy. It's been an honor, and I'm really thankful that we've had this time together. So hopefully we will connect more fully in the future, and I'm sending you my love, and I'll see you soon.